was very hot tea. Very hot tea.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to the LJL Officially Unofficial cast. I am Alex, otherwise known as Lexi, my master on the internet, and I am, of course, joined by the man that just burnt his mouth, Alex Hapgood, otherwise known as Nymera. Was it your hand? Oh,
it was my hand.
Are you okay?
I'm okay. Well,
Okay.
I was eating a cookie, and then realized we had like 4 seconds left. So I was like, oh, I'll wash it down with something, and then burn myself.
Well, hopefully Crest Gaming don't get burnt like you did get burnt with that one. Crest Gaming have got to fight for their playoff spot, but they've got to try and beat the team which honestly are trying to really rival for that third place spot and really try and prove themselves as potentially a team that should really be worried about going into playoffs. And I think that is V3 Esports' goal. Probably to beat Crest in the best fashion forward. Arguably also probably trying to take back their fastest game, which DFM have just taken from them by beating Axis. But we're not so sad about that anymore by DFM beating Axis because Axis have made playoffs. So everybody wins in that one.
And arguably these 4 games, even with just the first 3 played, not the last one, have been some of the most fun to spectate, watch, and cast that we've had so far. Everything has come down to the last week. It's week 7. This is the last game, and we are still somewhat deciding playoff spots. I love that eventuality.
So insane.
I love that V3 have a chance to, like, either... So if they lose, they are still matched with Rascal Jester in the 3rd position. If they win, they go above them. They do pip them to that point. These guys, Rascal Jester and V3, will still be in the upper bracket of the round 1 of the playoffs. They will have, like, the choice of teams that they've placed against in the first round, which will either be Axes, and then either Burning Core or CJ, depending on how the matches work out in this last game, and maybe a tiebreaker.
Yep. And I mean, that tiebreaker, if it happened, it could trigger. We saw it with Axis potentially triggering it. Them beating Crest denied that triggering.
There's also a chance of a tiebreaker between Rascal Jester and V3, right? Because if I don't know what the head-to-head is on that. I know that if they end up with 7-7,
they don't play a tiebreaker. It works differently. It's to do with win percent. That's where they start going into stats, because it's like you both made it. Well done. It might be like fastest game times normally or something like that.
Anyway, so there are chances to apply tiebreakers. That's the thing.
Yes, but playoff spot. That final playoff spot is still in contention, which is crazy, as Nymera hinted towards, as Crest Gaming are going to have to face off against V3 for that opportunity to still have it before having to fight Burning Core if they do lose for that spot. Where are we looking for? Is this just Ardia has to just put the whole team on his back harder than he's already been doing? His Azir game was really good against Axis.
Remember way back when it was V3's first game versus CGA, and CGA were like, they'd lost 1 game to Rascal Jester. They were like 3-1 or something. They hadn't played against DFM at that point. They were coming in super hot, really good start to the season. And my thinking was, okay, right, V3, you've been looking a bit hot and cold, doing the one-on-one thing for the first 3-4 weeks or something. But you have a really good jungler. CGA's jungler and Yoshi, maybe their weakest point of their team. This is how you win it against them. You roll over the jungle, and then you start trying to fight around a really big jungle advantage going into map pressure. That still applies. Just now that V3 are ahead of them in the standings, and we're considering them favorites. I still think it's a really good matchup for 3-3. Maybe it will have to be the Audio show again. Have to put himself on a super carry performance, see if they can come out with a win and solidify their playoff standing.
It's crazy to think that we used to be calling V3 the Boogie Show, but now it's not just the Boogie Show. The rest of V3 have decided, hey, we're on this wagon too. We're here too. It's not all him. He's very good though. But, I mean...
I think that, particularly Ace if he ever gets LeBlanc. Like, holy crap, dude. That guy's good.
It's a chef's kiss if anything's deserved it. I just want to get into this game, frankly. I don't know about you.
We can do that. It's the last game of the season.
I want to see it. It's been a few days. I've not been able to look at anything around this, and...
Yeah, we really want to start talking crap about various standings and stuff.
Oh, I just want to start it. We haven't even recorded our podcast because that's how excited we've been, and we were just like, we need to just see what happens because people want to know. Let's get into this game as fast as possible, frankly. In 3, 2, 1, let's get into this.
Okay, right. So we just see a couple of CJ players in the seats. Preparing for this last game of the regular split. I assume that we got the time. Sorry, I mean I selected the timestamp for it, so I presume it is just about to go to Champions Select.
Yep,
Anyway.
that sounds about right for me.
So on the blue side, we have CGA in the top lane. It's Nap in the jungle, Yoshi in the mid lane, Arya in the bot lane, Gango, and the support Grendel.
Pause, please, because my whole VLC, the program that we use to bring this beautiful coverage to you, has just crashed.
Lovely. Okay, right.
We're going to have to do a rebate on that. We're going to have to do a complete rebate. Let's bring it back to our faces. Hello, everybody.
You would have thought that after however long of doing this now, you know, we've done this for how many games? 7 weeks times 8. That's what? 40, 42. No, more than that. It's like 48 games, right?
Something
it's
like
a lot of
that.
games.
Yes.
You know, we would have thought we'd sort all this stuff out now, but sometimes we are just kind of at the will of the software. Stuff happens. It's a bootleg cast. If you want it to be better, pay us.
I mean, yeah, we don't have any necessary direct means to fund us currently. We
You can just mail us money.
I mean,
we don't want to dox ourselves either.
Yeah, we don't want to dox ourselves.
Maybe we can take payment in Reddit Karma. Does that work?
I mean, to be honest, that's probably good enough, right? Because like,
I'm happy with that. It makes me feel good inside.
It
doesn't make me feel full because it doesn't actually allow me to buy any food or anything.
I mean, it means people are looking at our stuff, right?
It does, yeah, no, and I have to say, like, just going into the whole meta stuff about this whole venture thing, this is the last cast we're going to do of the regular season. We'll have playoffs to do still, and then summer as well. But what a journey it's been for us as well, just kind of sat here, watching all these teams, learning so much about the players.
Yes. So I have now got the game up and running, so if you want to just restart your one.
I also have that in place.
Very good, okay, so let's go back to trying to focus on a player. I'm not quite sure which player that is from CGA off the top of my head.
It's too blurry, we can't tell.
It is too blurry. In 3, 2, 1, let's do this again.
Okay, alright. So we're going to wait a couple of seconds to get into the cast. And as you were saying, this has been such a great journey for each of you, which have watched us from any point during this split, from the beginning right through to now. Thank you very, very much for joining us on the LJL officially unofficial cast.
I think it's Yoshi.
As we're going into it again.
Yeah, I think that was Yoshi.
I think it's Yoshi there. It's Nap in the top lane for CGA and Yoshi himself in the jungle. It's Arya in the mid lane, Gango in the bot lane, and Grendel as support for CGA.
And nothing's gone wrong for me, so I get to talk about V3. That's
Yay!
V3 over on the red side, and we've got Paz in the top lane. Boogie, as we can see on camera, in the jungle. Ace is their mid laner, Archer is their bot lane carry, and Reyna, it leads up as their support.
It does indeed, and we have the first 5 bans coming through so far. Elise, Yumi, and Senna for CGA, and Ornn and LeBlanc for V3.
So I wouldn't mind an Aphelios ban here. We've seen Gango do a lot of things on Aphelios. Arguably his best champion.
He did struggle on it last game, though.
He did. I think it's either Aphelios, or you could arguably ban another, like Set.
Maybe Set, yeah.
Oh, J4.
Okay.
Yoshi.
He had a good performance on that last game, on the whole. Like, it looked pretty confident for him.
It's also a comfort pick for Yoshi. It does seem like it's like, well, I'm not quite sure what I want to pick here, so pick me Jarvan, and then it's fine.
But as you were saying, it is the Set which is considered for the first pick, and that does allow V3 to at least consider the Aphelios. Both of these champions have been so prominent in the LJL and the world across as well. Nap being very good on this set though, so it is still a prominent takeaway and lock-in for CGA. Yeah,
I think CGA would have been fine with either or. Obviously, we have seen Paz have some incredible games on set as well as, Initialize would be sad if this came through.
And it's already sad enough having to end out the split without my dear brother and regular co-caster, but it's still fun to have the LJL cast here from my own bedroom. Evelyn being the hover here, Initialize, my brother, being an Evelyn main, would have loved to see this locked in.
Nah.
It's going to be over to the Aatrox again, though. Paz taking down DFM with that earlier becoming the unkillable raid boss. It has been locked in again.
So I don't mind the Aphelios pick here, because we already know what the top laner is. In theory, Set can obviously be flex mid lane. We have seen that before.
Occasionally, yeah.
But I mean, I like it. I don't mind it as much when you already know, in theory, who your matchup is against. And I don't hate the Aphelios versus Set matchup.
Hear me out here. If they wanted to flex the Set, wouldn't V3 be really happy with that? Because Arya doesn't have like a super carry champion. He has to play the Set instead. Wouldn't they be happy with that?
I think this is Set mid. I actually think this is Set mid now, right? So I've been seeing a lot of Kalista top. happening, especially against... Normally it's done against Set, but also against other melee champs. If anyone's going to pull it out, Nap would be the type of player I could so see doing that.
That's what... Oh, so Boogie does play a lot of Echo and it's been unbanned. That's not something we talked about so far.
Oh, God.
It's going to be locked in for the side of V3.
And that is actual, like...
Terrifying?
Yes, like, this was the champion he had his first game on and gave V3 their first win. Can it be the same champ that gives them the last win of the spring split coming in for it? I mean, that's his comfort champ.
It absolutely is. He looks so good on that champion. We've seen him, you know, back in like patch 10.2, patch 10.3 when we started the season out, when junglers were so down in terms of XP, we saw him being like 2 levels up on his opposite jungler level with his solo lanes. It's going to be the Nocturne banned away from V3 by CGA. That is the champion they have paired it with from Ace in the mid lane.
They've paired it a lot with them, and I mean, that part of the reason that they've done that so much is because of the availability of how much it gives you pressure across every single lane. Apologies for also cutting you off there.
Oh, no, absolutely not, no. I think that it's a very worthwhile point to make. It's going to be the Sylas and the Thresh banned away by V3. And we're looking now for another solo laner from both teams. Perhaps, maybe the Kalista will be going top like you said, but Gango has been going towards that pick himself. He plays it alongside all sorts of different supports, and Grendel has had his Thresh taken away, but he does play the Nautilus as well, which is pretty good with the old Kalista.
So a question I want to ask you is, we haven't really talked about this Sejuani that's come through, and we've not seen a lot of Sejuani, relatively speaking, compared to other regions so far. What is your thought of this Sejuani pick for Yoshi?
Sejuani's had she's had a lot of buffs
yes,
as a champion.
She has.
She does team fight very, very well. If you just survive the early game, Sejuani becomes a very useful champion. Your ultimate does allow you to buy a lot of space for your backliners, and it allows you to be on the front foot as well. We've not seen Yoshi play it, so I don't have any opinions of Yoshi's ability on this champion.
True.
We have seen a lot of Reyna on Nautilus, and it is, of course, a takeaway from Grendel as well. We have to see what he goes towards in that bottom lane. So maybe Leona, maybe it's the hover here. We haven't seen Leona for a good couple of weeks now, actually.
Yeah, the LJL just don't seem to pick her, whereas other regions, we've already seen her be picked up in the LPL, we've seen her in LCK and the LCS, so it just seems to potentially be a region thing where they just prefer to always play Thresh, Nautilus, we've seen Blitz more often than Leona in this region, which is interesting. So this draft is now scuffed, in my opinion, from the side of CGA. We did this before.
Chase locked in. All right.
Okay. I love V3's draft. I'm very concerned for CGA.
So, this could be a Aatrox in the mid lane versus the Set or the Akali. Normally, we like to see the Akali in the longer lane, being able to run people down with the move speed from the Shroud and the passive. Set. It could also be the Akali in the mid lane as well versus the Jace. We see them flipping around. They have until 20 seconds to lock in which player will be playing that champion, but that doesn't mean they have to stick to their name, to their lane on the scorecards here. What do you make of the drafts in their entirety though now? Because we have seen every pick locked in.
Okay, so one, I'm not a huge fan of actually Leona. I do main Leona, so I'm normally very biased to Leonas. I actually don't like Leona in this spot, okay? And I have to explain why, because that could be controversial. I actually would have really liked to have seen something more along the line of a Janna, actually, in that spot.
Yeah. Something more like a mage kind of support.
Yeah, 100%. CGA already have a pretty decent tank in the Sejuani, and Set is just tanky through just how he works as a champion, so you don't necessarily need an ultra tank. You can play someone like...
You also have the Fate's Call as well, yeah.
Exactly, right? So I would have liked to have seen a mage spot, especially as you know you're against a Nautilus, right? Janna is so good against Nautilus if you're played very well. If Grendel can play, in theory... this is obviously Magical Christmas Land where everybody is a god at everything. But I think the Janna would have been such a nice pickup there. I also hate Akali at the moment. I think the champion is kind of trash in my eyes. That's obviously me being super biased and bringing my opinion over.
Everyone is allowed to have their opinions.
100%, but like...
It is also Aria on that champion.
I mean, it is, but like, frankly, I would have rather seen you tilt off the face of the world and just played having your main of Ari coming through. Aria, Ari,
You know, yeah, you know, actually, Ari is seen as well, it was seen in pro play as a bit of a Jace counter before. But of course, the Jace was the last pick. They didn't know that was coming in. I remember Perks playing that at MSI a number of years ago against, I think it was Xiaohu's Jace.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was fun. Back in one of the MSIs.
So I'd much rather, I will say a realistic pick. I would have liked Syndra a lot more. I can't remember.
Would have been quite nice.
I don't think the ban came through, so I think Syndra would have been really
No,
nice.
no,
I would have
Zoe
liked.
was
Oh, Zoe was banned.
Zoe was banned.
As was LeBlanc, so that's why we didn't see them come through.
I think when
Diana would have been fine here, frankly.
Diana it's another interesting melee AP pick actually. That's worth mentioning. Not been seen so much in the LJL. We did, you know who we saw play it? We saw Boogie play it in the very first game of the split versus DFM. Diana's a little bit overtuned in some cases at the moment, but yeah, we
Overtuned, undertuned. It's a weird spot that she's sitting in.
It depends against the composition, of course. We do see Ace picking up the Jace. Normally, we see Paz play a lot of that champion, so it's. I was considering it going to be a top lane pick, but if it is, this is good for playoffs though. This means that they do have a couple of these interesting solo lane flex picks. You know, something which can be used to be lane dominant against certain melee picks. I think that Jace is pretty okay into the likes of Set as well, although Set does have a lot more applications inside of team fights, with the Showstopper and the Face Breaker being such powerful abilities.
So I want to ask you something. I'm honestly not too familiar with Ace's champion pool. It is something I will definitely research coming into playoffs, as I think we all probably will be doing this sort of thing.
Oh, for sure.
I want to know, though, do you think the impact that Boogie has had on the team, having such a... He can play meta champs as well as his own favorites, like Echo to a degree, even though Echo is...
Oh, we see the level 2 hit by the bot lane here. We will get back to your point about champion pools, because it looks like the trade is just going to be that. A small trade, the extra pierce coming through from Gango there on the Kalista. Anyway, yeah, you're talking about Boogie and his champion pool and how it might have affected V3 and the likes of Ace.
Yeah, so I wonder, do you think because Boogie is such a propriant, he's a player that really loves to show off, one, how many champs one can play, but two, the flexibility of having a champion pool that is flexible, and the ability to just pick in weird random spots. When you're good at a champion in weird random spots, it actually can be a game-breaking situation, as we have seen from Boogie in a lot of spots. I wonder if maybe V3 and the players on the team of V3 are maybe starting to pick up on some of that through the momentum that he's giving the team and the morale.
Oh, it might change the atmosphere of a team where, you know, you do have a player which is so willing to play anything strange. It, you know, then means that the rest of your team members are going, oh, well, what about this pick? We've seen that Ace has picked up Nocturne mid. It's not the only player who's done that, but it's definitely not somewhat meta.
True.
It's something which is a little bit on the outside there. I think Boogie, it's a similar impact to Seros, right? Where you think that he does have a lot of these things. The hook actually lands down there, although it's going to just be that at the end of the trade. The lethal tempo lands coming in from Gango, though. It's going to be Reyna going down for first blood, as the initial engagement V3 is so badly put in. The TP coming in from Aatrox now. Paz making his way down to the bot lane. Misses the first Darkin Blade. Gango dancing around on
Boogie's
the
here
right now. Flash around. Boogie is here on the Echo. Comes in and cleans up the first kill for them. Boogie has the red buff and he's on to Gango as well. Paz is going to make it out on the bottom side as well. Nap is going to be disengaged by Boogie there. It's a massive first play for Gango as the lethal tempo comes in to turn around that trade. The V3 pick up 2 kills in the midst of the chaos.
So is that a 1 for 2 in the side for V3 because of how long that fight went on for? Or is that just first blood over to the side?
None of them technically left combat. If you had Moby boots, they wouldn't have activated.
True, very true. Yeah, there was not that 5 seconds as we do come through this replay. And they're picking to pick up right where the first blood came from. That was really well placed. Leona Q coming through to actually stun Nautilus before the auto attack could come through. As we see here that Gandil just is able to stay on top of Archer and actually really affecting the CS that his ability to come through with. If you actually stand on top of a lot of AD carries, they do have struggle with TPing. As we can see coming through, TP and Paz stunned immediately by Gandil. Really well played, but then... Oh my god, and this was just so beautiful. Nat potentially going on the wrong pick. Very indecisive there, as we do see Gango just getting picked up here, and then Paz getting out. I wonder if potentially if Nat was a little bit more decisive on his option of I'm going to try and fight Boogie or I'm just going for Paz, if maybe he could have picked up an extra kill. I don't know.
Well,
Question mark.
We'll never know now because the players unfortunately ended. One thing which was quite important there is that Gango used his Rend to try and slow down Archer, meaning that he didn't have the reset for the next part of that fight. He probably would have been able to pick up Nap if he'd had all those spears and the Rend available. does end up being a 1 for 2 for the side. Well, 2 kills going to the V3, 1 going to CJ. You know when we say, oh, 1 for 2, I keep forgetting mixed around which side that's actually applicable to. It's like, oh, it's a 1 for 2. It's like 1 kill for 2 people. So it'll be a 1 for 2 for CJ, a 2 for 1 for V3.
2 for 1. It's meant to, yeah, I think you're always just meant to do it on the winning side and you just say the team. Yeah. I believe that's...
Sure, we'll just say that. But you know who's really winning out of that fight? 2 kills on the Echo. Boogie once again showing up pretty big. What's also pretty big with that is he gets himself a lot of Dark Harvest stacks there. That's a big trade there from Paz, and the Haymaker comes through. The shield not actually blocking all too much. Yoshi is in the top lane, but if they go for this, they're going to find themselves a very strong Echo waiting in the brush.
Oh god, do it.
Do it.
Do it. Oh my god!
Landed from Nap is going to be the showstopper of Paz away from the fight, but Boogie is still here. He's going to run away. Unfortunately, nothing he can do there. No ultimates left from, well, none of them available from the side of V3. Yoshi just getting the permafrost stacks there. It's the kill on to Paz, evening up the game's kill score of 2-2.
Yeah, and that was very unfortunate. Paz just not realizing that Nap, it was so close, as we do see another engage here.
Another engage indeed. There's the Gravitum available from Archer alongside the Infernum. Does mean that the root comes out to slightly disengage. Gango is whoa, there's an ignite down on Serena. Grendel's still going, no flash available. He has gone too far, too deep, and he's not going to have the follow-up available from Gango. He might have a Pearson look for a kind of kill on the back end of it, but a 2v2 gone awry from CGA.
Yeah, that was very confusing by Grendel. They just stayed so far up, and I mean, the problem was Gango wasn't anywhere near. Leona is a champion that really, really needs to have their AD carry right next to them in a lot of scenarios.
You know what was really important from that? The Crescendum turret came down and zoned out Gango. I mean,
it did.
He couldn't walk up in the same place.
And because of that, like Leona, while she outputs an initial burst of damage, it's weird to say a support bursts a bunch of damage, which she did, though.
AD carries know exactly what you're talking about.
As a Leona main, I'm very happy to say I do burst. As we can see...
Speaking about the burst, Grendel looking there for the Hex Flash, not getting in range for the Zenith Blade, though. And actually, you know, the one lane we haven't been talking about is this mid lane. Adia has found himself down just over 10 CS. There's a Seeker's Arm Guard and a Hex Drinker built up by both of these champions, both going towards the defensive end of their available item builds.
Yeah, that's an unusual sight to see. You're not used to seeing Adia down in farm.
Be defensive as well.
So weird, and on also an assassin champion like the Kakali. It's so unusual to see this. As we do also get to have a look on that CS, 20 CS down really on that top lane side, almost 26, almost 30 at one point. Really, damn.
At least the wave is crashing, so it's going to make him look a little bit better there.
It is.
See Boogie here trying to get the parallel conversion down to Arya. Stun doesn't land. It's a good burst either way. Doesn't get the passive down. But, you know, he's making the use most of his time. Didn't waste too much there waiting in that one brush.
It's so insane, the mobility that Boogie has on this champion. And just the map awareness that he has the ability to just go, I'm going to do this, and then I'll just keep running off and I'll do this afterwards. If this works, great. If it doesn't,
Yeah, very much so. He's also a level up on Yoshi right now, managing to have a lot of farm on that champion. Has himself the completed runic echoes as well. So that mini Luden's burst going to come through in these traits. He's pathing up towards the top side right now. Will be spotted on a pink ward, but Paz is also sitting in the brush. He might be able to set up here. Nap is going to start backing away, but he is caught by the stun from the parallel convergence. This might be all she wrote for this set. Does have the flash available. He's going to try and use it to get out. He does have it, but Boogie, of course, has his ultimate, just dives in, dives out, gets himself another kill and another Dark Harvest stack.
Oh, but Yoshi's looking for a pick here. Let's just have a look and see what the side of V3 and Reina can do here. Clean out that wave, keep it nice. Okay, as we do see Yoshi just hanging around there. Boogie having a phenomenal game. 3-0 currently.
How does this guy end up doing so much in his games he's in? Every time he's had some some off-peak games when he's been playing stuff like the Trundle and the Skarner, but every time he's given the tools to carry, this guy does it.
If you give him Echo, he commonly wins a game. I want to know his Echo win rate in solo queue. Like, is it just like just 80% unless someone ints down mid? Like, he's just like, don't worry, I got this. I'm Echo. You're a jungler. I'm Echo. And
I'm just Echo. He says as he dives in, uses ultimate, gets out. He now has he has 3 out of the 4 kills. He doesn't have the 1 kill that was going on to Grendel in that 2v2 bot lane. But what this means is he actually has 3 Ravenous Hunter stacks as well on the Echo, which is so important for this champion because it means that every time you proc your passive, you are healing up a lot more. And we've seen how close these trades get. An extra 50, extra 100 HP in these trades could end up spelling life or death for either of these teams.
I think the important thing is also to remember is this is not a passive ability that you're expected to get this early on. You're not going to have 3 kills.
11 minutes in.
Yeah, you're not going to have 3 stacks already on it. This is going to be 15, 20 minutes. Yes, okay, that makes far more sense. Not this early on. This is going to make Boogie into such a machine, still a level ahead, same level as Paz, and a level behind the mid laners. What is happening at the moment? This is phenomenal play.
He's giving us, the YouTube guide on how to play Echo and how to snowball a game. This guy is doing everything for his team. The V3 we did talk about a little bit at the start of the split, kind of just living and dying by Boogie. They are certainly very alive here. And Yoshi might be slightly dead, but he gets away with the Arctic Assault. No CC landing there, but he does have to give up the Scuttle Crab, the Rift Scuttler as we discovered it was called earlier today.
It's crabby to me.
Crabby, but then is the Crabby also the Rift Herald as well? Where do you or do you go by the Shelly and Shirley?
That's just Big Crabby to me.
Big Crabby and Big Crabby. Well, okay.
You got Crabby and you got Big Crabby and you got Drake and then you got
Big Trouble here as well as Reina commits the ult over
Yoshi.
Leona. There's a good Leona ult to start zoning off Archer, but he has the Moonlight Visual. There's a parallel convergence coming down as well. Gango flashes out with the Fate's Call as well, but he's in between a rock and a hard place, and the hard place is the team of V3. Boogie solos him out. It's 2 kills. It's the ult from Arya does not get the execute onto Reina, but he does get it with the passive and ends up using his flash to get away at the end of it. Nap uses the Showstopper and the Haymaker to try and buy himself a bit of time and maybe another kill, but at the end of the day, it is a 3-for-1 for the side of V3.
What the devil is going on in this game? This is V3 honestly looking their most definitively strongest. This has been a fight that they've had to beat against, and they're like, meh, we got this. It's fine.
And that's 4 plates going towards Boogie and Archer. The 2 people were like, hey, if these guys get fed, they can carry team fights. Boogie we've talked about so much already. 3-0-2 now. Has himself 5 plates and a first turret as well. This guy is so insanely fed.
It's so insane, but the great thing about this is look at the rest of the team. No one's very far behind. Reina is keeping contention with Grendel, and arguably is more fed than him as he's got a kill, because that's what Nautiluses need. They need kills, and as a Nautilus player, I agree. We had to see DFM
play the full AP Nautilus.
Exactly, right? So I mean, anything's possible. The rest of the team, Archer has basically 90% kill participation, which is just impressive. Yeah, this while Boogie has all the a lot of the kills, everybody else has at least 1 kill, and
it's not like anyone's suffering.
No, and that's the insane thing. Boogie he will try and not only get himself to a place where he can carry a game, he will then immediately start distributing it out. And if you go back and watch other V3 games where they win, you'll see Boogie do this countless times again. He's a jungler that gets himself to a great spot and then gets the rest of his team into a good spot. That is the trust they have in each other. And that's why they are looking so dominant so far. Against the team in the earlier part of this split was the team to beat, arguably.
Absolutely, and now V3, if they win this game, will be putting themselves in for a rightful 3rd place finish. They will be finishing at 8-6 if they win this, going 1 win over the Rascal Jesters, who will also finish out this split very strong. CGA, as we've been saying, they've been struggling the longer this split goes on. We thought they were going to be one of the teams to beat, and it looks like Boogie is beating on Gango there. And there's nothing he can do, no summoners, no jumps left to use. Boogie picks up another kill participation, and the rest of the team will go whale on this mid lane turret.
I kind of want to go play an Echo game after this. I can't.
It does motivate you to play it, doesn't it?
It's just so good.
Oh, and we see the Showstopper actually committed from Nap there. Paz takes some aggro, but the Infernal Chains will bring back the set underneath his tower and away from him. Boogie spots out Yoshi there, and I mean, like, Yoshi is like, oh, yes, sir, do you want my red buff? Oh, of course, you can have that. Let's hand it over to Archer. There's 2 red buffs on the side of them now. Yoshi sat 2 levels down on the Sejuani. We talked about how the Sejuani can, if they survive the early game, be such a strong team fighting champion. It's not happening this game. The team is now 4,000 gold down out of pocket. Compared to V3, they are snowballing so hard. They are one of the best snowballing teams in the LJL. This is why it was so nice to see them go even against DFM in a lot of ways and start fighting in towards the mid and late game. Sometimes we see them fall apart around that point. This game, though, is back to the usual style of dominant V3 when they do get ahead and have a good draft. Boogie might get caught out here, though. Oh, Grendel has gone a little bit further there than he particularly anticipated. Pulled out by the Fates call, but Yoshi has no such ability available. Boogie not choosing to dash forward, actually might be slightly out of range. What was really bad there is that, well, unfortunate, is that Grendel, he Zenith Bladed in, but the Zenith Blade takes you to the furthest target hit. It goes through Boogie, and then connects onto, I believe it was Reyna there.
Yeah.
And he just gets pulled right back into the brush and can't get out.
Reyna's like, no. You wanted me? I'll have you. Come on, bring it to me. And Grendel's like, no, sir. Please.
Oh, this is not what we wanted.
Gango, get me out of here. I need reinforcements fast.
I need healing, as Genji might say. I did end up getting the Fates call out of there, but Yoshi going down for his 2nd death of the game. Not a particularly strong game from this Sejuani so far. Has been suffering at the rolling death ball that V3 are bringing to hand here. It's just more kills, more pressure, and more everything to the side of V3.
It really is, and I want to just let you all know. This game has truly been honestly insane, but if you think about it, where has Arya been? Where has Arya been this game? We have said that Arya is the pinpoint, the critical part of CGA, and on a pick, in theory, that's meant to carry.
But the thing about Akali nowadays is that she is a very different kind of beast, a very different kind of champion, as she used to be previous to patch 10.3. What happens now is that she does take longer to... Oh, as we see Ace caught out. He's trying to push down in the top lane turret. He actually flashes away! Even though the CC was put together, actually, I believe he was showstoppered out of the solar flare there. And uses the flash, gets away with a little amount of HP, but it is just enough to survive.
I got Diddy Kong Racing, no. When you're going the wrong way, I got like, no. That exact thing when he was getting out, when Ace was running away, I was like, no, I see. You're not allowed me today, of course. I am Ace and I'm a Jace, so I'm fast as well.
I'm pretty sure that CJ are waiting for that one little man sat on a cloud for the Mario Kart games to go
to turn it around and go, all right.
Around for them as well. They're now stuck at a 4.5k deficit, and unfortunately for them, as I was going to go into, this Akali scales well aggressively, but it does take her a while to come online. At least has the Gunblade now, and has the first kill participation. One of the other problems is that Akali's energy costs are so high on the queue nowadays. You do run Presence of Mind to give you that extra energy every kill you get, but it does mean you have to get kills, and there's only been one so far for Arya.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, the kills that they could have participated in are kills that where Arya would have died, 100%. There have been huge team fights where Arya has either been in them, or if they've not been in them, well, they probably would have died in them because Boogie is around and is just hungry for everybody's tummy and blood and just, he wants the kills and he wants this game to be a statement saying, hey, no, take us seriously, we're going to win this and we want to go to MSI.
Absolutely, but both of these teams, as we've been saying, are potential playoff contenders. V3 have locked up their playoff spot. If they have another one, Arya here actually going back on the Shuriken flip, but only takes the one tower shot for it, so yeah, it's a decent trade, and now, of course, has the Gunblade to heal up. V3 now, though, if they finish 8-6 with this run of form, they will be looking towards the throne. They will be looking towards DFM and Sengoku and Rascal Jester, if as well, in terms of the top end of that bracket. And of course, Axe is joining them. They will be looking at these teams and saying, what have you got that we don't? Ace has some fancy feet, though, is what he has that CGA don't. And he gets out once again.
That ain't Falco. That ain't Falco.
That ain't Falco, indeed.
Oh man, I love bringing other esports into the commentary. Sometimes just memeing it up and being like, well, Who knows where that's going through?
No one has ever done that in the history
ever
of
done
Legends
that. Texas from
competition.
Jonas. If anyone watches Tetris World Championships, it's a guilty pleasure of mine. But those guys get hype as F about Tetris games. I have to send you one. They get mad hype over like Tetris stuff, and like, oh, it gets you so invested into it. You're like, huh.
And speaking of Tetris and being invested into things, V3 are really setting down the blocks well here. They're just waiting for that 1-4-line thing to really put into place this game. There is the Baron available now post 20 minutes. They have themselves all the tools to take down the standing structures of the CGA, much like a line in Tetris.
Oh, beautiful analogy, sir. Beautiful analogy.
Yeah.
Something that I did come to my mind is this is a team from V3 that actually would adore this Infernal Drake.
Absolutely,
And Infernal
yeah.
Soul.
They have a lot of damage on their team.
Yeah, they got a lot of damage, and more damage, less problems, or more problem. I don't know.
There's a lot of damage to that mid lane turret there. You know, I wonder if Boogie could have just dashed and E'd in and then ulted out to kill that tower there. Probably didn't want to use his ult though.
Probably.
Not wanting to commit that just before the Infernal Dragon comes up. There are a lot of big items for the side of V3, and they have two mainly for their carries. Well, they have two on Archer, importantly. Where CJ are sat on components after their first items. They will have to fight at item deficits, but they're not choosing to fight at all, letting this first Infernal Dragon go the way of V3, putting them up to their second dragon total for the game so far.
I almost wonder if CGA is surprised it's taken V3 this long to take that Drake. I wonder if they're like, really? You already just... Okay, cool. I mean, it just means it's going to be an extra 4 minutes till the next one comes. All right, fine.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's still, 22 minutes for two dragons. It does mean that the soul will be quite late into this game. At that point, maybe you're thinking, well, okay, maybe we can scale up and start doing stuff. Callista gets outscaled, though, by the Aphelios. I think no one's really arguing that. Callista is a 2-item carry. She does have 2 items now. Has the Blade of the Rune King and the Ruinous Hurricane. But when you're against like a Protobell, Runic Echoes into a Sheen Boogie here, who is doing so much damage, you have poke coming through from the Jace, long range engagement from the Nautilus too. There are so many things you have to be afraid of, and even though CGA were walking up pretty brazenly to the turret there, they still have to be very afraid of if these fights go wrong. Grendel once again moving up there, just sidesteps the empowered shock blast from Jace, but the fight doesn't end up erupting. It is going to be V3 looking for a reset.
Yep, V3 just getting a lot of damage, obviously getting that mid turret, then rotating for Drake, and then before resetting, they did decide to have a look and see what they had to see if they could get that bot turret. They didn't, so they're just now doing arguably a delayed reset, as we can see all the players either recalling or just taking other objectives throughout the jungle before resetting back around. And
Boogie getting himself fed up as well.
Just more.
The worst, the really annoying thing is for CGA, and particularly Yoshi, is that every time V3 make these incursions into their jungle, they lose jungle camps. It's not like V3 are losing any jungle camps. They're still getting like huge amounts of CS. That's like a 30 CS lead in the jungle. What, 40 even for the side of Boogie. That's like 10 camps.
Yeah, and Boogie just, and the whole team of V3 just do that. And they're like, all right, we'll try and take that. If we can't, we'll just take the camps. We'll just take the camps because we'll win that way. If we just have more farm and gold than them, they can't beat us. And then we win.
And it's Boogie's Echo, we've seen it being in the early and mid-game menace. Echo does not scale poorly. He does a lot of damage. He's going towards a Lich Bane second. He'll be going towards more AP after that as well. We also see, this Aatrox, we saw Paz be so tanky on it in the last game he played. He has himself his first 2 items. He has himself the Spirit Visage and the Black Cleaver. It's slightly more tanky than going for the Sterax or the Death Dance second, but slightly less damage as a recompense to it. But he doesn't need to do that damage. His jungler is doing everything for him.
Yeah, he doesn't need to, and that means it's so much more easier for him to just go, he's out. He's fine. He's fine.
Yeah, he walks into 3 people and they say, actually, we don't want this fight. Yeah, it's literally Boogie. Do you remember that scene in the Halo series, Halo 3, where it's like, oh, well, we're outnumbered 3-1. Boogie says, it is an even fight then. He just kind of walks up and says, I mean, if you want to take it, sure thing, buddy.
I mean, I guess it's a fair fight in that sense then. Like, oh my God, it's...
I've always wanted to reference that on Cast, by the way. That's one of my favorite quotes from the Halo series. One of my favorite game series, too.
But, 1 through to 3.
Halos,
yeah.
Huh?
1 through to 3, yeah. I'm not a huge fan of later
one of my
OST, but that's a spin-off. That's a spin-off in my eyes.
It's still recognized with a Halo game. Anyway,
sure.
Lots of great things coming from that game. And speaking of Halos, there are no Angels here for CGA to put their hopes on. They're going to have to work their way into this game themselves if they do want to try and win this and not face a tiebreaker against Burning Core.
But that's what happens when you first pick Set instead of Kale. You don't get to play an Angel. I mean, they could have played Kale in the mid lane. I mean, that would have...
and it would have been another unique champion.
Would have been better in my eyes, frankly. Would have been better. But whatever. I'm going to keep saying that I hate current Akali in pro play. Solo queue's different.
You know, so I think that it's been okay in certain matchups in top lane. Mid lane, I agree. I think it's not great. You can't really get solo kills in mid lane as current Akali just because it's so hard. You come online too late, so you don't have the early lane pressure. And I don't mind Akali in the Taric cat combo, right? We saw it once from the Hawks, and at first glance, we were like, okay, you're still playing Akali, right? But if you have the Taric ult on top of you, and you don't have to worry about peeling for yourself, you just keep wailing away with damage. Akali still has damage, but you don't have anyone to buy you that kind of time in this kind of team. Maybe you did need something like a Taric instead of Leona. That's something which Kalista works very well with, right?
Oh, yes, Taric would have been
a very good
beautiful in that spot. I mean, this is just coming back onto points. Their last two picks from the CGA draft were questionable.
Akali and Leona, right?
Yeah, it was Akali and Leona, and I immediately, even as a Leona main, go, I think
I'm a bit suspect.
Yeah, I don't think this works at all for what your comp is trying to do. I was like AP mage, such as Janna, would have been good, but I like the Taric. I think that offers...
Taric would have been really cool.
Yeah, it also allows, if you really want to play this Akali, at least some resilience.
And speaking about resilience, CGA are going to look to dive deep into their consciousness and find some resilience of their own to try and fight
Boogie's just fighting everybody.
Second Infernal Drake. Boogie has been caught by the initial CC. Ult's back onto Nap, and Boogie's actually going to be removed for the first kill of the fight. Paz TPing in, does have a lot of damage here. Nap flashing forward for a face breaker, pops the stopwatch. There's so many spears inside the Aatrox. Reyna trying to do what he can. Ace is still alive. Archer is still alive. Paz is going to die here, though. Oh, is he? He's
he did it!
He gets the kill first, but goes down. 3 for 1 for CGA, coming off of an unfortunate ult back into the team from Boogie. And CGA are going to run over towards the Baron at 27.5 minutes into this game.
Okay, so I love that they did that. I would have taken the Drake. I would not be doing this Baron, because they're...
But maybe the Baron can let them unlock some of the towers.
Oh, actually, they're taking it down a lot faster than I was expecting.
They have the Kalista as well for the Ren secondary smite. But there is Archer and Ace still here. It is not a one fight yet. It's going to be the Crescendum and the Infernum. Not the Infernum. It's going to be the Baron taken down by the Kalista. They do get the one kill out from V3. And Gango living on about 10 HP there, getting out with some kills at the Baron, and a very much game-changing play there. The resilience was there. Speaking about that, digging deep and finding a fantastic fight.
Okay, so this whole fight started when Boogie was all the way up there.
It's a little bit of overconfidence. He actually had to ult back to avoid the Sejuani ult. That's what he did. But he kind of went straight back into the waiting arms of Nap.
Yeah, and then... God, that was all just so bad. All of it was so bad. And then I think you do the initial contests, but I would have done it over the Baron wall. So you can start doing all of that. You can see if you can get a pick. If you can, sweet. If you can't, let it go. It's fine. Huh. Okay, well, CGA have really found a good way back into this game. They've got the second Drake. That could
3k lead only. It's still a lead, and they still are somewhat outscaled, but it is a 3k deficit only for CGA now.
But some of their members are also Baroned up, which will assist with potentially coming back into this and maybe getting a few pushes, especially on turrets. We can see that RDR is pushing this bot lane, probably hoping to get some of these outer turrets. As CGA lacking a little bit in the turret department with 0.
Yeah, 0. That kind of sucks. Did Brave. I know that when we said in the Baron, the work up to the Baron play, saying, well, maybe it's not worth going for it. Maybe it's worth denying the dragon. Turns out they did that after the play as well because of the extra kills they got in there. So they had their pie, they had their cake. They ate it as well, and they're going to eat up a lot more gold around this map. It's almost a 4,000 Baron power play so far in this game. Make no mistake, V3 have a lot of tools available to them, particularly in the scaling of Boogie and Archer on the damage carries, but it's not like CGA don't have tools to play with as well. Yoshi is back in this game now. He has a second level ultimate, has a stone plate built up. And Gango has 3 items on the Callista, has the double lifesteal, may be able to survive through some of this fight here.
Yeah, and this is a spot where V3, they know they just have to sustain themselves through this Baron buff. They know they're going to lose some turrets. They've already lost a few. They've already lost the one down in bot lane. They're probably going to lose the top lane down to Nap as well. As they lose
so many. CGI are going to go up to 3 towers on one push. This is crazy from them.
But these are outer turrets. This is what you expect.
It's still gold.
It's gold. Oh yeah, 300 gold each time one of these towers goes down, plus an additional 60, I believe. Or is it just 300? I can't remember.
I can't remember exactly how much they are nowadays, because the global gold and the local gold have been changed so much. It used to be 1,000 gold per tower. It's not quite that nowadays, but it is a lot of gold going over to the side of CJ. And that's going to be one of the largest Baron power plays we've seen actually worldwide this split, I'd imagine. This is a 5,000 gold power play. They were 7k down. 7k! That is not a lead you expect to
That's more impressive that V3 basically 24 minutes in, it looked like 25 minutes in, they were 7k ahead, and now CGA are finding a way back into this. But a part of that was done by the overconfidence by V3. And we have said this is a slight fault of theirs. Sometimes they're a little bit too overconfident for their britches, and they get a little bit caught out and punished.
And also, it wouldn't be a CGA game if your heart wasn't in your mouth.
True.
Let's put it that way. They do love these montage plays. Sometimes they fight over nothing. Sometimes they fight over everything. And this time it has worked out in their favor. The coin flipped and landed heads for the side of CGA, presuming that they chose heads as well. Aria is still deathless on this Akali as well. Grendel just walking up. Boogie's been caught out a little bit once again.
I'm CPing in.
Oh, this is going to be a bit of a bad fight, though.
Gango's dead.
Trying to carry away, and it does nothing. It's a big ultimate from the Echo there. Aria is onto Ace here, but the rest of the team is just dead. Nap goes down as well, and we were talking about hearts in their chest. Now it's going to be at their feet because they just lost a 4-for-1 team fight, which might end up forcing them to take a tiebreaker game versus Burning Core, depending on how much V3 take on this last push.
These death times are still very long. Grendel gets up in 20 seconds, but that's a lot of push they're going to be able to get done.
Echo is good at killing towers.
Echo's very good at doing this.
It's at least going to be the inhib. We'll see if they stay for anything more. It looks like they're backing off. They are going to leave it there. Massive fight for V3 to bring them back into control of this game.
And I wouldn't be too surprised if we see them pick up a lot of things here. As we can see, Boogie coming through, huge convergence over here. Then Nap's coming in from the side, but the problem is Gango's already been zoned out, and Reyna is so tanky and also uses that stopwatch to basically prevent anybody from doing anything. That Yoshi just gets tanked, and Ace is happy to zone Arya here. He's happy to lose his life for 4 kills for his team, and then for Arya to go, I got a kill, but can't do anything with this.
Instructions unclear. It's just like, hey guys, I'm gonna kill this guy. You guys just win the team fight, right? And the rest of the team goes, instructions unclear, gave up 4 kills.
Yes, and they go, and Nap TP's in, tries to ult Reyna, but Reyna has stopwatched, so rather difficult to ult Reyna. And then
I believe he also died as well to the ult back from Boogie. He died mid-air. I mean, that's like, admittedly, that's a pretty cool way to die. It's like going into strapped to a rocket ship, like filled with TNT, going into a volcano. That's kind of cool, right?
Oh yeah, no, it's going for the full just overkill at that point. But you're just like, but it's fun, and I want to do that.
And what might not be so fun is the fact that CJ are once again on the losing end of the map pressure here. There is going to be the 3rd Infernal Dragon. It will be the 3rd Dragon total for each team that might take it, spawning just now, and also the Baron. Looks like V3 are prioritizing the big purple worm on the north side of the map, whereas CJ are happy to trade it for soul for themselves.
I don't know if I would be so happy if I was CGA. I don't think they were expecting them to take it down so quickly, and that's already gone. It's gone.
Yeah, they were moving to contest, see if anything was about there. Obviously not being able to do anything out of it, just hunting. I don't think he'll be able to find anything. I wonder if CGA thought they could fight at all about that. I wonder if they thought, hey, we're not in a position to team fight right now. We just want to see if we can get any kind of objectives. They're actually going to see if they can sneak a mid lane turret, but there's a TP coming in from Paz. The parallel convergence is coming down. It's not going to catch anyone. The shield comes in. Paz has found his way in there with the home guard. You got Boogie going forward again, landing onto Aria there. There's going to be resetting the fight. Aria going in, trying to kill Boogie, but the ult from the Echo does buy him a lot of time. Stopwatch coming in. Archer's being focused down on the backside, but he gets out alive. Reyna not so lucky. Neither is Nap on the other side, though, and what am I saying? Reyna is still alive. It's going to be Ace, the one who's going to be dying at the other side of this. Paz finishes Aria somewhere in the distance there, and
Archer's going off!
Forward. He's going off completely. It's going to be 3 kills to the side of CG, and no one dies from V3.
God, for a perfect fight after perfect fight for V3, and Boogie's still hungry for the Sejuani. Yoshi, come here. I want it.
Wait. How's this go? They're running down the mid lane. They're going to look for
They've
the
got
end
super
here with
minions!
30 seconds in. They've got Baroned up super minions. Gango is still alive. The Infernal Chains land and the Hook lands too. Stopwatch ain't going to save you, and it ain't going to save the game. There's going to be one playoff match, and it will be CGA versus Burning Core. This V3 will be our 3rd finisher in this split of the LJL.
Oh my god. And that, oh, look at that. Boogie afterwards. Oh, let me have a sip of my drink. That
was
was...
going to take the sip, and it's like, that's the tea I like.
That's it. As you can see, the whole members of V3 there are just so happy with each other, taking a bow. Congratulations to V3. What a strong showing. Welcome back over to the desk. I am Alex, otherwise known as Lexi by Muscle on the internet, of course, joined by the insatiable Alex Hapgood, otherwise known as Nymera.
I'm play-by-play colorcaster extraordinaire apparently this week.
Does it all.
What a fun game.
Oh man, does it all. Congratulations to V3 with such a strong showing over these last few weeks. We were a little bit, because they're so like, oh, they go 1-1 every single week. They don't look particularly strong all week.
Well, there was a point where they were tied for last.
Yeah, there was. They went 0-2. They had that 0-2 week, and they just were like, and we were all like,
Oh, and then look at them now. They just surpassed Rascal Jester in terms of their finishing position. They will have the choice of the first round opponent out of the lower 2 seeds going into playoffs. So that will be Axes and one of CGA or Burning Core. Burning Core, very much happy with this result. It means they have a last lifeline for playoffs.
It is, and that was a lifeline that Burning Core probably were hopeful for, as CGA and Axis did play each other, so the percentage of it happening is a lot higher. They were probably maybe expecting Axis to be there, because obviously Axis were playing off against DFM, so there's a higher percent chance that is going to be a loss, as we did see Axis get slightly stomped. Sorry, Axis, but you did get kind of pub stomped. But you got the win afterwards when it mattered.
Yeah. We said our nice things about them. They got playoffs. I'm going to love seeing them in playoffs, as am I going to love seeing V3 as well. It's going to be the last game, obviously, the tiebreaker. So I guess we do technically have one last game of the regular season, which means that Initialize will be here with us for that, to finish it off with us, regardless of when that happens. I believe it's happening on Thursday, so that will be tomorrow, our time as recording this.
It will be tomorrow. I believe we will be casting it at 10 a.m. in the morning, live, as we normally...
Our first live game!
We're so used to this normally being like, we wake up at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., to cast at 9 a.m., do 4 games, and we're like, oh, man. I mean, and we're still 5 hours late behind everything. We're like, oh. Whereas this, we can cast Burning Core versus CGA for the live playoff spot. How? That's so hype, dude. So cool. Oh my god, Ray Farkey can still make playoffs.
He absolutely
That's
can.
all I care about now. I'm sorry, CGA, but Ray Farkey, man.
Now we have a choice between Aria and Ray Farkey.
Oh, fuck. Can we just not have both of them on the same team, please? And then...
that'd be so cool. There are so many different teams. You know, if I was going to choose like LJL All-Stars, there are so many different teams which involve Aria and Ray Farkey. But now they have to face themselves off in this this grudge match, the blood match for the last playoff spot. There's going to be no holds barred. It's going to be absolute chaos. The first time we saw CGA Burning Core, we saw Aria get a quadra kill on the block. We saw Gango pull out his Draven. We saw Ray Farkey very nearly pop off on his Darius. That's what you're in for with this kind of matchup.
And the
fireworks everywhere.
And I mean, can you remember the second time they played off against?
The first time was so explosive. That's the one which I tend to remember.
That was a very explosive one. The second time, let's do this, because I think it will be interesting. When did they play CGA? Jesus Christ. Back in week 4. When was that first one? Oh, that was week 2.
Week 2.
So week
4 was the second matchup between them.
Mm-hmm. Can you remember who won that one?
It was Burning Core that won.
So they're 1-1 against each other.
They are
My.
And that was back when Burning Core started off their winning streak.
That was their
as well.
2-0 week, right? Week 4.
It was. So remember that was when Crest had their Talia Pantheon bot lane, the Yasuo, the Kindred, and the Aatrox.
Oh,
really weird composition coming out of them. Once went 9-1 and 10 on Lee Sin with the Yuumi supporting him.
That's right.
Over that game, Burning Core so dominant. It was a very quick game, no real chance of them losing it. They just absolutely ran it over. So, Crest will not want to repeat that. They will perhaps want to draft towards slightly more normality. But they still have to face this game. They need to buck up their ideas because Burning Core have managed to sit through 2 of their games and, take some extra notes about them as the last 2 games of the split. It's going to be a close match.
And the other thing is Burning Core in their losses didn't do these same mistakes that CGA were doing. They were having... I hate to sound kind of against CGA because you don't want to. But Burning Core was showing up a little bit more. They lost against Sengoku, but they gave Sengoku a half-decent fight before, well, Sengoku did Sengoku things.
They did, and they are our second-place finisher team. They are one of the few people that were clear-cut above the middle of the pack, which was the entire rest of the league, really, going into this last week.
But Burning Core also won this week. They actually won a game, remember, and they beat the Hawks and pushed the Hawks out of playoffs at all hopes. And this was a team where once went 4-0-4. Ray Farkey played his Darius. Please, Ray Farkey, don't do it. It's almost as bad as Akali's in mid. I swear to God, if Rocky plays Akali mid and Ray Farkey plays Darius, I might just turn off the stream. I just might just go. No.
We're just gonna be casting here. It's like, wait, Lexi, where'd you go? We've got a game to cat. No, it's just gone.
You just hear me leave the Discord part. I'm off of Skype, and I'm just like, and you're just like, what the? Oh yeah, he did say.
However, I mean, so that is our standings pretty much determined besides that tiebreaker. So we get to look at the standings in their entirety and have a little chat about them at the end of this broadcast, I guess.
Oh, 100%. Let's do this. It's been
split.
something for the last few days. We over here at the LJL Officially Unofficial, because we genuinely, honestly try and leave everything blind as possible. We've worked out our quick ways of using the Wikipedia sites and our own resources to try and keep things as unknown as possible. Obviously, some spoilers can happen, but we've been pretty good at doing it, especially coming into these later weeks. And
we don't spoil for each other either if we do find out and stuff. So largely they have been blind, but now we get to see everything, and we see Detonation Focus be coming in on top. Only at the 1 win streak. They did lose to V3 in this last week. They're finishing 12-2, very dominant. 3 wins over the second place team. They're going to be a team to watch in playoffs.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Especially with their last game that happened against Axis. That was a disgusting game against Axis, taking the fastest game. And it's rather weird because Axis are so good in so many spots, and then just randomly people just run over them like they're a pub stomp team. But then they have the other games where they genuinely can beat everybody in the league. It's interesting.
We talked about this a little bit off air because at the other end of the playoffs bracket, we have Burning Core and Crest. We've talked about them quite a lot, so we'll try and lay off them a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Both at 5 and 9.
We've also got an exciting game tomorrow to watch from them, so
we absolutely do. So we'll try and hold fire a little bit on there. Just above them is Axis. They are sat at 6 and 8. They started the split with something like 0 and 5, I believe.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. They had a very bad loss streak at the beginning.
I'll see if I can find that out while you talk.
It was at least, I remember they went 0-2, 0-2. I can't remember what happened the 3rd week. I believe it might have been 1 win, 1 loss. I think they might have only gone 0-4 in terms of the loss streak.
Sure.
If you take out that first loss streak, because they had such a transformation, they would have, instead of having a 43% win rate there and being 6 and 8, they'd be 6 and 4. That's a winning win rate.
Oh, yeah.
They've had such an impressive end to the split. I don't think they necessarily look like the 5th place team. I would even put them up against somewhere between 2nd and 4th, somewhere up there.
Yeah, I mean,
think Sengoku are such an impressive team in their own right, but Axis have finished really strongly.
Axis beat Rascal Jester at the beginning of week 3 like you thought, and then lost to Crest Gaming Act. But that's when they went 1-1. They have gone on to since later beat Crest Gaming Act. So it doesn't, who beats who, honestly, in Axis' mind, we can beat anybody, and I think the confidence with this team should go in is, I think if you all clearly care about each other as a brotherhood, because you don't have that kind of end game where everybody's hugging, management come out and everything.
A lot of emotions on show, a lot of emotions.
A lot of, belief and everything comes out. Honestly, take that feeling that you had at the end of that, use that. You can honestly beat anyone with that kind of confidence in you and belief in your teammates.
And also, you know, there is that side of it. You know, use that momentum, use that emotional kind of fortitude that you built up.
Yeah.
Also keep a level head, because whatever formula you're employing, it's been working pretty well on the whole. You did lose against DFM. It's not like you didn't have bright moments within that, and also DFM just have a pretty crazy team in a lot of ways.
They do.
They have been one of the better drafting teams in the LJL. I've really liked what they've tried to achieve. Hasn't always worked out, of course. They have they do have 8 losses and only 6 wins, so it hasn't worked out. But a lot of that hasn't been. I mean, in the first 2 weeks rather, they were still drafting really well. I really enjoyed their drafts. I just think they weren't playing towards their win conditions very well.
Agree.
So they're coming into a best of 3, best of 5, best of whatever. I think they are a team to watch because they have so many different ways to draft. They can definitely start adapting within these series, or at least I'd like to hope that they do, and come out and take down some pretty big names, I'd imagine.
Yeah, 100%. We won't actually get to find out. I just inquired on the LoL Esports side as well as on the Wikipedia side to see if there was any opportunity to know where teams will be facing off and everything. We do know at the very top, at least in round 2, Destination Focus Meet will be facing off against Sengoku Gaming. That is always happening. We know that for a fact.
So the first and second place teams face off, and then the third place team gets to choose between the 5th and the 6th seed for their round 1 match. That will be either Axes or the winner of Burning Core Crest Gaming Act.
Yep, so that's V3's choice.
So V3, I mean, who do you think they should choose there, do you reckon?
The winner of Crest Gaming Act, Burning Core, personally.
I think that was pretty obvious, I guess. What that means is that we are left with probably Rascal Jester versus Axes. That's so interesting, because Rascal Jester are one of the other teams which drafts really well.
Yes! And they're also a team. These are 2 teams where I'm right in thinking, I'm gonna go off on a limb here. I think Axis are 2-0 versus Rascal Jester. I know they got 1 win on them. I just need to figure out their second one. But off the top of my head, I'm rather confident in saying.
Yes. So Axes are 1-on-1 versus Burning Core, 1-on-1 versus CGA, 0-2 versus DFM, 1-on-1 versus the Hawks, the other team which we haven't talked about, sadly missing playoffs. Talked about them a lot at the end of our last broadcast because they were eliminated by Axes, in fact, in that last game. They're 2-0 versus Rascal Jester. Unfortunately, they're 0-2 versus Sengoku, which could be quite telling coming into the later rounds of the playoffs. And they're 1-on-1 versus V3 as well. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. V3 should go winner of Burning Core versus Crest. Then that puts Axis versus Rascal Jester. Imagine that. Axis have had Rascal Jester's number from week 3 when they first started looking okay, and now this is a far better team. From Axis now.
Hugely so. They were their first win, like you were saying, went on to achieve many great things in this split in the regular season. And when you know what, one of the other things is that V3, they're sat here choosing their playoff material.
They get to watch the game.
They are 2-0 versus both CGA and Burning Core. They are 2-0 versus 2 teams, and they're both the opponents that they could choose.
It basically comes down, they're like, do we want to play against Ray Farkey and his crew, or do we want to play against Aria and his crew? And then and then they go, well, we don't really get to pick. We just have to find out which one. But we don't want to play against Axis because Axis can draft rather well, and we've gone 1-1 against them, so we shouldn't do that one. Let's pick the one where it's easier.
And V3 are finishing the split with a 5-win streak, including a win over DFM.
That's the second longest win streak.
It equals Sengoku.
I believe so. Yes, I think Sengoku had 5.
They had 5 as well, yes. And then obviously Detonation had, I think they went 9-0, I believe, until they lost against Sengoku.
I thought they went double digits and then they lost. I thought they went 11-1 and then they got 12. They went
a large amount.
It was something crazy. You might be right with that 9, actually. I'm thinking retrospectively, and I think actually you might be right with that 9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It was 9.
It was 9.
It was 9, and they lost against Sengoku back a couple of weeks ago now. And yeah, so we have a really fun playoffs to look forward to. I think that all of the teams that are going to make it in will deservedly be there.
Yeah.
It is very sad, obviously, not to see the Hawks, who started the split out so well, coming into playoffs. And then also one of Burning Core and Crest Gaming also are sadly departing us, because those 2 teams are teams which have had some very high highs. They're finishing on some pretty low lows. Crest having a 4-loss streak, Burning Core having a 1-win streak, so finishing off on a win at least for them. But they had they went from a pretty awkward start to a very good mid-season, kind of going down again, and then kind of just wibbling around the middle of the pack.
Well, Burning Core had to go 1-1 to even have a stone throw chance at playoffs, which they did. And then they had to hope that either Axis or Crest went 0-2.
Absolutely living on a prayer here.
Like they either had to go 2-0, which would have already locked them for it. They didn't, so they went 1-1. They still had a lot of ways into it. Happened to go either Axis or Crest have to go 0-2. There's a chance because they're both against very good teams.
So at least one of them is going to lose at least one because they're facing each other.
Exactly, and then it's like, well, they're against good teams. Axis DFM, Crest against V3. That puts us in a good spot. Imagine if both of them had lost, and then it's just like 3 teams, and we go, Judge.
See, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that couldn't have happened because Axis and CGA, they played each other, which means that one of them had to lose, but the other one had to win as well. So it was always going to be at maximum a 2-way tiebreaker.
No. So DFM. So Axis lose to DFM, then Axis beat Crest. Yep. Crest lost to Axis, but then Crest beat V3. That puts them all on a. Oh wait, no.
Yeah, that's the. Oh no. So if
they both go through in that point, and then it doesn't matter. Yeah.
So if Burning Core had gone 2-0, and they do that, it could have been a 3-way tie. But the last week has ended up with only the one-way tie at the end of it.
Oh, Burning Core, why didn't you just go 2-0?
Oh man, that would have been so nice, I guess.
No, we're very happy with Axis being secured.
Yeah, we are, and I'm looking forward to all of these playoff matches. I don't think there's any single matchup I'm going to be there going snooze fest. All of this stuff, there's so many different styles we've been putting in. I like how each team is going towards their identity. V3 has finally turned it on.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago when they were kind of dropping down to the lower ranks, I'm like, well, you need to start thinking about changing stuff up. And they have gone back to winning ways with just Boogie being aggressive as all hell.
Yeah, let Boogie be aggressive and then trust that he will convert that for you, which he did. He doesn't try and take all the glory. He does actually try and give some of that leverage over, and like as I was saying in that game in the midpoint, everybody had a kill, even support had a kill.
It spreads out.
Yeah, he gets a few to begin. Really well. Yeah, he's like, I need a few guys. Give me a few. Trust in me. If I can. Yeah, it's like trust in me, trust in Boogie, and then it's like, oh, we win. Trust in Boogie, we win. Cool.
So, I mean, I guess we'll get to talk about that a little bit more in terms of tiebreakers.
We will.
Tomorrow. We'll be live with it, like we said.
So we will be live at 10 a.m. on this stream right here. In our time at 10 a.m. Either check the wiki or lol esports. God, what is it? It's lol.esports.com.
Watch.lol.esports, something like that.
Okay, we should really watch. Watch.lolesports.com if you're unsure about your own local time zone. We are the officially unofficial stream, meaning that everything you are hearing, seeing is completely off our own back. Me and Nymera and Initialize basically run everything.
Smelling, though, that's not to do with us.
That's not us. That you need to go shower if there's something smelling. And,
unless it's nice, and in that case, congratulations. That's
yes, nice. Oh, absolutely. I mean, pleasant smells are lovely. I mean, I can't smell. I have basically no sense of smell. It's the one flaw in my ever personal, like perfect persona and everything else.
It's like I'm Nymera, Alex Nymera Hapgood, also go by other things on the internet.
Nyanmera.
The Nyanmera. Yeah. I'm joined by the unsmellable, the unsmelling Mess One. What adjective can I use here?
I don't know, dude. I apparently have become incredibly good at trying to figure out random adjectives for you.
I look forward to your.
I wasn't expecting to do this every week, and now I've done it for like 7 weeks plus our podcast, which you should totally check out if you're interested. Yeah. Discord to links down below.
Like, I'm really happy that we managed to, although we didn't manage to cast live and sometimes we had some technical difficulties, we have cast every game of the regular season. I'm happy for us. If you've managed to watch any of our content, thank you so very, very much.
Thank you.
We do this. We do enjoy it ourselves, but it is nice to have an audience, and that is you. So thank you very, very much for supporting us. Come join our Discord, come watch our social media and all this other stuff. Is there anything more you want to say about the broadcast today?
No, I will just close us out if that's okay.
Yeah, so thank you very much for watching us for the regular split of LJL Spring Season 2020.
Yeah, for everybody and Initialize as well, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you very shortly, approximately 18 hours from now, for that live coverage of Burning Core facing off against Crest Gaming App for that final playoff spot. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you very, very soon.